Hi, welcome back to a brand new episode. Today, I'm going to take a look at Kate Jackson, one of my favorite actresses growing up on TV. Now, Kate Jackson, of course, best known for being Sabrina Duncan on Charlie's Angels for the first 3 years, and definitely someone who's had a very strong impact upon me personally. I have numerous turtlenecks in my possession because of Kate Jackson. And I also cut my hair short periodically because I loved her cute little low-maintenance page boy on Charlie's Angels. So let's go ahead and just jump off into it right now. Kate Jackson was born, actually Lucy Kate Jackson, in Birmingham, Alabama in October of 1948. She grew up outside of a wealthy suburb of Birmingham along with her parents and her younger sister. Now, in 1966 or so, she went to the University of Mississippi, where she attended college for a few years, but she left before graduating because she wanted to pursue her dream of being an actress. So she moved to New York City in around 1969, 1970 to pursue that dream. She ended up being a page for NBC for a while. She also was a waitress. And then she got her first big break over on the very popular TV show Dark Shadows in its last season, the 1970-71 season. She portrayed Daphne. After Dark Shadows and her role on there came to an end, in 1972, she was cast in the Aaron Spelling-Leonard Goldberg TV show The Rookies as Jill Danko. Jill Danko was a nurse, and she was married to one of the guys on the force, Mike Danko, portrayed by Sam Melville. Now, Jill Danko was definitely the most popular character on the show. Kate Jackson got the most fan mail, and you have to admit that whenever she was in a scene, she really did just light up the room. Your attention went straight to Kate immediately. And I think that the producers and the writers picked up on that because they began to include more and more scenes, more and more episodes of Jill Danko. As a matter of fact, Jill Danko was kidnapped in a couple of episodes of The Rookies because when she was in those particular episodes, not only was Kate's beauty displayed all the more, but also her incredible acting skills. It proved what a really dynamic actress that she was and how she could really captivate not only the scene, but also the storyline that she was involved in. So The Rookies came to an end after 4 years in 1976. Well, Spelling and Goldberg really liked working with Kate. They really appreciated her as an actress and all that she brought to the table. So they decided to create a TV show specifically for her. They wanted to create a vehicle that would be a TV show that she could star in. She wouldn't star in it alone, but she would be the star of the show. That TV show that they developed for Kate was originally called The Alley Cats, and it was named after the 3 leads on the show, Allie, Lee, and Catherine. Now, Kate was a very smart woman, very independent, she was very brainy in real life, not just on Charlie's Angels, but she didn't really care for the name of Alley Cats. So she was in Aaron Spelling's office. They were brainstorming about the new show, and she looked over and she saw a painting on Aaron's wall, an oil painting of 3 angels. And so she made the suggestion, why don't we just name them angels? Of course, Spelling thought that was a great idea, so they scrapped Alley Cats and they decided to name them Angels. And they decided to go with the name Harry's Angels for the show. However, they had to switch from Harry because of David Jansen's show, also on ABC, called Harry-O. So instead of Harry's Angels, the show became Charlie's Angels. Kate also saw a speaker box on Aaron Spelling's desk. She came up with the idea that the angels could talk to Charlie over that speaker box. And again, that was too added to the show. So the pilot was cast, and then it was filmed in 1975. Kate, of course, was cast first. Secondly cast was Farrah Fawcett Majors. And then thirdly cast was Jaclyn Smith. Now, Jaclyn Smith has said several times that her audition did not go over very well. But there was something about her, the way that she looked with the other 2 girls, and the fact that she had that amazing, striking beauty, they decided to go ahead and give her a chance. And she was cast as a third angel, Kelly Garrett. Now, speaking of Kelly Garrett was supposed to be the role that Kate Jackson played on the show. That's why if you watch the pilot, it's available on YouTube in its entirety, you'll notice that the entire pilot centers around the character of Kelly, which I thought that was kind of strange, because if this show was meant for Kate Jackson, why is the character of Kelly, why is the pilot revolving around that character? Well, it was decided that Kate would portray Kelly Garrett, and of course the pilot was going to revolve around her. However, Kate decided that she liked the character of Sabrina Duncan even more, so she let Spelling Goldberg know that she wanted to portray Sabrina instead of Kelly. So they went along with that, and Kate Jackson became Sabrina, Jaclyn Smith became Kelly, which is why Jaclyn Smith is the primary angel featured in the pilot. Now, the pilot made its debut in March of 1976 on ABC as a movie of the week. The ratings were absolutely fantastic, to the point that the suits at ABC thought that there had to have been a mistake. So they reran the pilot a second time about 2 weeks to a month later, to get the true reflection of the ratings in their opinion. The ratings were just as stellar as they had been when the pilot was shown the first time. So ABC, very pleased, so they decided that they wanted to add Charlie's Angels to the fall TV lineup. They ordered a full season of episodes, which in those days, the typical amount was 22 episodes, and the show would make its debut that fall. So throughout the spring and summer, they were in production, taping episodes of Charlie's Angels. And of course, the show made its debut as a weekly series on September 22nd, 1976 at 10 o'clock that night, 9 o'clock Central Time, right after Beretta. Charlie's Angels was definitely the most popular news show on television that season. Charlie's Angels was phenomenally successful. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was watching it. All the little girls wanted to be angels, Charlie's Angels. If you ask any woman in their 50s, and maybe even early 60s, did you play Charlie's Angels as a kid? The answer is going to be yes. Because that was just something that we all did. We all looked up to the angels, and we all saw them as really positive role models. And so that was something that you did. You played Charlie's Angels. Mariah Carey has publicly said that she played Charlie's Angels as a little girl. She always portrayed the character of Jill. Of course, Farrah Fawcett's character. She had the Farrah Fawcett dolls. She even later, after she became a megastar, moved into Farrah Fawcett's old house. So again, that shows just what an impact that had upon so many of us growing up in the 70s. Both Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz also played Charlie's Angels as little girls growing up. Of course, they were in the Charlie's Angels movies in the 2000s. So that was something that we all did. And my personal favorite angel was Kate's character, Sabrina. Sabrina, to me, was just absolutely perfect. She was so smart. She always figured out what was going on before everybody else did. Like in the episode Target Angels. I think that's an early episode in the first season. Sabrina was the one who figured out exactly what was going on with the plot, why the angels were all being targeted. She was the one who got to the bottom of it, and they were able to go ahead and successfully solve the case. She also was very low maintenance. She was a beautiful woman, but she did not dress up a whole lot. Kate Jackson hated wardrobe fittings. She was very comfortable just being, if you notice in Charlie's Angels, Sabrina was behind the bar a lot. And that's because she hated wardrobe fittings. The other actresses, Farrah and Jaclyn Smith, and later on Cheryl Ladd, they were all into the wardrobe fittings. They enjoyed doing that, but Kate did not. So when you see Sabrina behind the bar all the time, it's because she was basically made up from the top up. But she was wearing a pair of shorts and a pair of sneakers or a pair of jeans behind the bar because she was just very low maintenance. And I can relate to that. I like to dress up too, but I also am very low maintenance. I have so many turtlenecks in my possession because of Kate Jackson. And I too cut my hair periodically into a little bob like she had on Charlie's Angels. So if there was any actress who influenced me as a kid, it was definitely Kate Jackson. So I loved to be Sabrina. I loved to portray her. When we played Charlie's Angels, I would always be front and center and make the declaration that I'm Sabrina. So very, very popular show. I mean, not amongst the kids, the women who like to tune in and see the fashions, the hairstyles, the makeup, and of course the men who like to tune in and see all of that breathtaking beauty. So it was a ratings smash, and it finished the 1976-77 season as the top 5 show in the country. Now, of course, Kate Jackson, very difficult behind the scenes. As much as I loved her growing up, still have fondness toward her today, she was not the easiest person to deal with behind the scenes. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, she wanted Charlie's Angels to be taken seriously. She didn't like the fact that it was basically a show that was so full of unrealism. There was a lot of fluff in the show, a lot of fluff in the dialogue, and she wanted it to be more along the lines of what Cagney and Lacey would be in the 80s. And so that was very frustrating for her. She wanted that show to be taken very seriously, and as popular as it was not taken very seriously. So that bothered her. The other thing that bothered her, no doubt, was this was supposed to be her show. She was supposed to be the star of it. She was the one who's being paid the most money. She was being paid $10,000 an episode. Farrah and Jacqueline Smith were being paid $5,000 because they did not have the experience that she had. But Farrah Fawcett became, of course, as we all know, the breakout star of the show. Farrah Fawcett hijacked Charlie's Angels, not deliberately, inadvertently, but the effect was still the same. So Farrah's popularity pushed Kate to the sidelines, and no doubt that really did bother her. The fact that she was supposed to be the star of this show, and she had been basically pushed out of the starring role, and she had become basically on the side, sometimes even in the background, because of Farrah's overwhelming popularity. I know that the episode in season 1, this is how Kate could be behind the scenes. The episode that guest starred Fernando Lamas, I can't remember the name of the episode, but they had the big scene where they were all going to take him down because he played a killer and they were ready to take him down. Well, Jacqueline Smith was to be behind a hot dog cart because everyone was, had their positions of where to be to get ready to take out the bad guy. Well, Kate demanded in the middle of it all, she wanted a real hot dog, because they were, in the park, and she demanded that they give her a hot dog. She refused to continue to film the scene until she got that hot dog. So one of the extras had to go and run off set and go get her a hot dog and bring it back to her. So in ways like that, she was very difficult, very problematic, and not the easiest person to deal with. Now she, of course, Kate, Farrah, Jacqueline, very close friends. They remained lifelong friends. She and Kate Jackson Kate Jackson and Jacqueline Smith, still very close friends to this very day. She and Farrah were friends for the rest of Farrah's life. But she was not an easy person to deal with. And that just really increased as the show went on. Because, of course, Farrah left the show after the first season. Kate was very disturbed by Farrah's departure. She did not at all care for Cheryl Ladd. Did not like working with her, or just did not like Cheryl Ladd. Not really sure as to why that was, but she would have her times of, she'd be civil to Cheryl Ladd, she would talk to her, and then the next day she wasn't speaking to her. So that too added to the fact that she was a very complicated person behind the scenes. And then in 1978, she was offered the lead role in the upcoming film Kramer versus Kramer. Now, Kate Jackson, definitely a brilliant actress. Even people who did not like the show, criticized the show to this very day, admit that Kate Jackson was a good actress and that she was the best actress on the show. All you have to do is look at the episode Angel in Love from season 2, where the character Sabrina fell in love with a bad guy, and you got to really see Kate Jackson was amazing in that episode. She was fantastic. She was nominated for an Emmy 3 times. She lost each time, but she was still nominated. So her work was recognized by the Academy, by the industry. So her acting had become so well noticed that they wanted her to be in that part with Dustin Hoffman. However, Aaron Spelling, Leonard Goldberg would not let her do the movie. They said they couldn't let her out of Charlie's Angels. The schedule would not allow her to go off and do that movie. And she was very, very upset about not being able to do that movie. Because, of course, we all know what happened. Meryl Streep got the part. Meryl Streep won an Oscar, and she became the Meryl Streep that we all know today. That was the film that made and cemented Meryl Streep's career as a movie actress. And that could have been Kate Jackson with that movie career. And I can understand why she was so bitter and so upset. Who would not be? So she became even more problematic behind the scenes on the set. It got to the point where Kate would not speak to anyone on set for days. And then when she would finally begin to talk, she would just have a complete explosion. She would explode on set. She was very, very hard to work with. But I do sympathize with her because she had to let go of a phenomenal movie role. Kramer versus Kramer, I remember when that movie came out, everyone was talking about it, because there had not really been a movie like that before. To this day, it's still, very much respected and recognized. And she had to give that up to be in crappy episodes like Marathon Angels and Disco Angels. And the worst one of all, in my personal opinion, the one where they went to the ski lodge to solve some kind of mystery or some kind of crime or whatever. Jacqueline Smith's husband at the time, Dennis Cole, was in it. And it was a 2-part episode. It was 2 hours long, a double episode, if you will. That one was, on for 2 hours, 1 week. Terrible episode. I do not watch it to this day. Don't like it. And so she had to settle for being in lousy episodes like that when she could have been in Kramer versus Kramer. I totally understand her frustration. So anyway, things got so bad on the set with Kate that when the 1978-79 season wrapped, Kate, who had just gotten married a few months earlier to the actor Andrew Stevens, was in Hawaii. They were in Hawaii. She got a call from Aaron Spelling, and he basically told her that she was not going to be coming back to the show for season 4. So she was fired. Now, there have been debates through the years about, was she fired or did she quit? Well, I read this in a People magazine article. They did a cover story on Kate in June of 1979. I remember the magazine. I refused to buy it because I was so upset about her leaving. But I looked it up online and I read the article again not too long ago, and that's what it said, that she was actually fired. So she did not quit. She thought that she'd be back for 1979, 1980, but when she was fired, she said that she was okay with the decision, that she was relieved, that she said in her own words that they were tired of her and she was tired of them. She admitted that she did cause them problems behind the scenes on the set. She said that the show served her well and she served it well. So she was at peace with the fact that she was no longer going to be on this show. So I think people kind of mixed the two up a little bit, but no, she did not quit, actually. She, of course, accepted the fact that she'd been fired, but that's exactly how it ended. So Kate, of course, was doing TV movies for a while. She reunited with one of her rookies co-stars to do Making Love, which bombed at the box office, unfortunately, in 1982. Then in 1983, she went to do Scarecrow and Mrs. King for CBS. That show lasted for 4 years. And during that time, when she was on the show, in the latter part of her run on that show, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she, of course, underwent surgery, and then she had a second bout of breast cancer in 1989. That time she had a partial mastectomy and then had reconstructive surgery. She also was born with a very small hole in her heart, she found out. So Kate has definitely had her struggles. She divorced Andrew Stevens. That marriage did not last for very long at all. I questioned why she even married that guy, because I remember when they got married, he seemed like he was just too immature for her. They didn't seem like they were just not on the same page at all. So when they divorced, I was not surprised. But she married 2 other times. Both of those marriages also ended in divorce. She adopted a son years later because she wanted to be a mother, so she adopted a son. And she continued to be in TV movies for the rest of her life. She did appear in some episodic television shows like Ally McBeal and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The last credit that she has, according to both Wikipedia and the Internet Movie Database, is an episode of Criminal Minds that she did, I believe, in 2007. So Kate has had a really low profile for years. She was last seen at Farrah Fawcett's funeral in 2009. She moved out of Hollywood, left Beverly Hills, sold her home, and moved to Virginia, where she remains today. She has not been seen publicly in many years. The last photo of Kate Jackson that was seen was of her riding in the passenger seat of an SUV with, guys driving, and she has her glasses on. And that was the last photo that we've seen of Kate Jackson. And that was taken around maybe 2016 or so. So she has not acted. We have not seen her, heard anything of her in a very long time. Now, she is still close friends with Jaclyn Smith, because Jaclyn Smith did an interview on Instagram last year. I follow Jaclyn Smith on Instagram. One of the questions that she was asked was, does she keep in touch with anyone from the show? And she mentioned Kate Jackson as well as Cheryl Ladd. Kate Jackson has been working, word has it, on her biography. She's been hard at work on her memoirs for years. It was supposed to be released back in 2020, and then it was supposed to be released last year, but as of this episode, it has not been released as of yet. So I guess she's still at work on it. She still has a lot that she has to do with it. Can't wait till it's released, because I can't wait to read it. It's going to be really exciting and fascinating to read about Kate's life, both her personal life as well as her life as an actress on screen. Kate Jackson, someone still very close to my heart. I still enjoy watching her on Charlie's Angels, which is shown on Get TV. I know it's on 5 nights a week. They show 2 episodes. Of course, the entire series is available on DVD. I believe The Rookies is available on DVD as well as Scarecrow and Mrs. King. So Kate Jackson, someone, again, I still adore very much. I wish her nothing but the best, wish her nothing but success. I hope that she's enjoying her life. Hope that she's in a good place. And I cannot wait to read her memoirs. I cannot wait to read her book, because I know it's really going to be good. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Two Sisters and a TV. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate your time, appreciate your interest. And until I am back with a brand new episode, I'll see you next time.